Hello and welcome to Manchester United, the D Unit's view. As you can see, I am not at home anymore. I have travelled a very large distance, yeah, over the last 64, 72 hours, whatever it is. I have travelled from Kalgoorlie, Western Australia, to Perth, 6 hour drive, to then hop on a plane, fly to Kuala Lumpur, and then get a connecting flight from Kuala Lumpur to London. I am currently in London, in the United Kingdom, and I can tell you that I am a very happy man. I'm very excited. I'm off to the football this Sunday to watch Manchester United against Bournemouth at Old Trafford for the first time in over a year. I'll be there, and then I'm back there for Manchester United against Newcastle. Very excited about this, and obviously, lots has happened since I last joined you. Man United have come back. That we are back. We have gone to Man City as I'd hoped, and we have beaten them. We've beaten them fair and square. It's just been great. It's been great to watch. Look, this game I was actually watching live on the tarmac. Like I got to the airport, had on Optus Sport back in Perth, and I was watching it. The first half was, it was good. We are containing City. We actually went there and had looked like we had a really good plan. Unfortunately, we were undone again by a set piece, which was highly frustrating. But it is what it is. That's obviously an area that Ruben Amorim's going to have to get to work in because obviously we've just not been good enough in that respects for too long under his watch already. So that needs to be ironed out, and hopefully we can do that sooner rather than later. In terms of what we saw though from Manchester United, was just great. Like we limited City. This City team is a poor team. I think we are seeing the implosion of Man City, which is absolutely fantastic from a Manchester United fan's perspective. We've been waiting for this for so long, and now it's happening before our eyes, and it looks absolutely unbelievably good to watch. So I was sitting there watching this game in the on the tarmac in the second half, and I watched Bruno Fernandes go clear in, and I was like, here we go, we're on. He's about to score, and then he fluffed it. And I was like, oh mate, that was the chance. I was like having Bruno in my fantasy team as well. I was like, this is the moment. This is the moment we're going to score. But alas, it was not the moment he scored, and we had to wait a little bit longer, and we just kept on watching. And then, look, I actually thought it should have been a penalty when Rasmus Højlund was taken out by Guardiola during the second half. I'm surprised that VAR didn't send Anthony Taylor to the monitor because I felt like that was a penalty. On reflection, when they slowed it down, it just looked more and more like a penalty. Sometimes you wonder why VAR is there. Like at those kind of situations, yes, if he hasn't seen the correct angle that you thought, just tell him, go and have a look. If he doesn't like it, then he doesn't have to give a penalty. It's still up to the referee to give the penalty. I'm unsure why we are still allowing refs not to just have another look. Like, what is the harm? Yes, it slows the game down for like maybe 1 or 2 minutes, whatever. But at least we might actually get the right decision. And it didn't matter. So look, Ahmad was eventually fouled by, I think it was Mateus Nunes that went back to make a tackle and just absolutely got fooled by Ahmad, who pulled it up beautifully, won the penalty, and Bruno Fernandes scored and then just pretty much let the City fans know afterwards that, yeah, he might have missed one, but he still scored. He had ice cold veins going on there. He sent him the wrong way. It was a brilliant penalty. And from then on, it looked like, is there a chance that we could get a win? And then ironically, 115 seconds later, what is the script writing? Ahmad goes past Guardiola, takes it past Edison, and then finishes it. And delirium ensures Manchester United fans, for the first time in a long time, had a lot to crow about. Quite often over recent times, we've had Man City fans coming to Old Trafford or us going to the Etihad and hearing their fans sing, "You're getting sacked in the morning, you're getting sacked in the morning." But this time, it was Pep Guardiola facing these chants from the Manchester United travelling fans who were up and about for pretty much the entire game. It was absolutely brilliant to see. Can't wait. There's going to be a feel-good factor going into Sunday's game against Bournemouth. But obviously, we do have the Thursday night game of the Carabao Cup against Tottenham Hotspur to come. I will preview that a little bit later on, but I am going to be covering. There's been so much that's happened in the last time since I did this, so there is a lot to get through, and I'll try to do it in as short a period of time as possible. But look, it was fantastic. I was sitting there watching this on the tarmac, as I said, hoping that the game would finish before like the flight took off. And thankfully it did. And I was telling you, when that Ahmad goal went, I was like, come down in the plane. It was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved it. It's what football is all about. It's why I get up at stupid o'clock to watch these games of football. It's just mad. And hopefully, I'm going to be able to cover you. I'm going to do some shorts when I'm up in Manchester prior to games, after the games, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure you hang around, watch for that. I don't push this out to everyone. So, if you are new, please smash the subscribe button. I do try and do a pod in between each game. And then, yeah, hopefully you enjoy it and smash the like button as well. But yeah, look, Man United have been a tough watch, but like this was what I was expecting. Like I expected us to go there and give City a good game, and we gave them a very good game of football, and we beat them. It was just brilliant, mate. When you beat one of your two big rival teams like Man City or Liverpool, you always feel good, and like it was the perfect tonic for the long flight that was to partake. My back is still sore from having been in this plane for so long. Like I think it's going to take another good week or so to like straighten itself out. But yeah, there's so much to unpack in that game. We saw Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford left out there, the entire squad. And Ruben Amorim had some very interesting things to say about that. And I liked it. It was sending a message about what's going on. So, like, we will not accept mediocrity in terms of your ability to show up to training and maybe half-ass it. You're going to have to sit there and get on with the team, et cetera, et cetera. So I really loved it. So, you know, it was, and this is what he had to say on the Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford. So it's important to say why. It was not a disciplinary thing. Next week, next game, new life. They're fighting for the places, but for me, it's important for me the performance in training, the performance in game, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you engage with your teammates, the way you push your teammates. Everything is important in our context. In the beginning of changing a lot of things, when people in our club are losing their jobs, we have to put the standards really high. For that, they have to fight for the place in the team. And today, the team proved that we can leave anyone outside the squad. You can manage to win if we play together. And I think that says so much about the mind space or the headspace of Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. And look, I'm concerned that Garnacho is turning into a very selfish type of a player. I'm not here to criticize, but there are aspects of his game where he needs to work on the final ball and playing his teammates in. He is very much one dimensional at the moment. If he's anywhere near the box, he is actively thinking about shooting rather than sitting there looking to see if someone is better off, better placed in the team to get a ball and maybe get the assist instead of the goal. And I think that he's fallen into this. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, like a bad habit of trying to do it himself rather than trusting in his teammates to do it. And as for Marcus Rashford, I don't know. I think this could be the end of him at Manchester United. I think for all parties concerned, a move away could potentially be in the best interest of both the club in terms of getting some money, in terms of satisfying PSR and financial fair play, because obviously he's pure profit because he's an academy graduate. And for Marcus Rashford, it just looks like he's stagnated for way too long. Ever since that really good season, I feel like he just needs a move. And this is me being a Marcus Rashford fan. I don't know. I sit there and look and I'm like, he should be dominating. He should be in this team, but he's not producing. He's not producing. That's just the end game. Like obviously, Ruben Amorim's seeing certain things in training, the way he's approaching it, the way he's conducting himself, and maybe he's been like, well, we're going to challenge you. You're going to have to step up, or you're probably going to end up leaving. So like that's frustrating in and of itself. But look, if there was one good thing about all this, it meant that we saw Ahmad starting in the inside number 10 position again. And look, I think that's his position. He is definitely one of those two players moving forward. Now, this game did have Mason Mount starting there. Unfortunately for the lad, he only lasted 14 minutes. And the longer this goes on, the more he's becoming like a Luke Shaw, just non-reliable. It's a sad thing because he actually is, in the times that he's looked on the field this season, he's actually looked fairly decent. The only problem is he's incapable of playing 90 minutes. I think he's played 90 minutes once for Manchester United since he joined. That tells you how unfit he's been. Whatever it is that he had in Chelsea's last season before they sold him to us is obviously like a long-term concern there because we are consistently seeing him break down. And like he lasted 14 minutes. I mean, that's Luke Shaw and him. They've got I don't know what it is. Maybe they need to go and see Ryan Giggs about doing some yoga or whatever. something needs to be happening there because we can't afford to continuously be keeping these players around if they're not going to be reliable. And it's a shame because Mason Mount, I actually think, is in one of those 10 positions, he's perfect with Ahmad and then Rasmus Højlund in front. Then you can play Bruno Fernandes a bit deeper with Ugardias, which is what we saw at the start of this game. Obviously, with Mason Mount coming off, Bruno Fernandes went forward and played with Ahmad, which I also didn't mind it as well from a fantasy perspective. I've got Bruno Fernandes in my team, so I thought that was brilliant. But it is concerning that moving forward that, he's not staying fit, Mason Mount. So I hope for the lad that he can sort himself out, come back and actually get a really good block of training and hopefully just kick on. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. But yeah, that was disappointing. But obviously, Mainu came on early and he played well. I thought he played well with Ugardi in the midfield. And look, Bruno Fernandes, as I said, he probably should have scored before he got that penalty. And yeah, look, there was lots of positives to take out of. I think Erling Haaland barely had a touch, barely had a shot. I don't even know if he had a shot. I think he might have had one shot. Harry Maguire marshaled him beautifully. He came in, played in the centre back position. Obviously, Matthias de Ligt played on the right centre back, and we had Martinez start on the left centre back. Then we had Dalot left wing back and Mazraoui right wing back. Now Mazraoui went off and he's yellow flagged currently in the FPL app. So hopefully he's all right. I think Ruben Amorim has given an update on that overnight in preparation for the Tottenham game. So I will cover that in a little bit. And then, yeah, obviously, yeah, there's plenty of things to take about. So they talked about Marcus Rashford. He went in, and Alejandro Garnacho, he went in a little bit more about, when quizzed about that, he said, I'm going to say it again. It was not a disciplinary thing. It was small details. You can see the games like I see. There are some things that have to change, but it's a new life. It's not a disciplinary thing. It's a performance in training, the performance in games, and then I have to choose players. Johnny Evans did everything right. He was at home, and also he's important for us. It is a disciplinary, I will say it here in the press conference, and it'll be a bigger problem. It was not that. It was just that I want to improve my players. And sometimes you see and you understand that for so long we try, for example, with Rashi, a thing that doesn't work. Let's continue to do the same thing or try something different. So it's as simple as that. If they train well with the talent they have, we will be so much better with both of them, Rashford and Garnacho. But they have to work hard. They are trying to do. Today they train really hard. So it's a good thing. Next week, new life. Let's see. So look, that's all I'm going to touch on now. I just think that Alejandro Garnacho has probably got more of a chance of turning it around. He's only 21, so like there's plenty of time there, and he is young, and obviously he's developed some habits over Erik ten Hag playing him for 38 games in a row that he thinks that maybe he's a little bit bigger than what he is and needs to go back and realize that it is a team game. I think that's the best way of putting it, really. I'm not sitting here having a go. That's just from what I see on the pitch. I just think that sometimes he is all about him rather than the team. And Marcus Rashford, unfortunately, has been a little bit like that for a little while. It is a shame because he's a bank-born boy, born and bred. But yeah, he just has to sit there and get on with it. But it was great because this kind of statement win basically sends a message that, we're going to play you if you're deserving. And if you're not deserving, we're not going to play you. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I mean, it could have backfired brilliantly. Like we would have, all the media would have been talking about him getting it wrong if Man United hadn't pulled off the result. But it is what it is. So yeah, on Mason Mount, hopefully there's an update here. So there is an update on the availability of 2 reds. I'm just going to have a quick look at this as we are talking about here. So Reds pair, here we go. Manchester United head coach says Mason Mount is the sort of character the club needs after the move was forced out. Let's have a look. So apparently Mazraoui is a fitness doubt ahead of the Carabao Cup. Hopefully Mason Mount is not too far away, but unfortunately he did feel something on his leg, so that's never a good sign. And yeah, nothing else other than that. It's just bad luck. Nothing with the problem with the body of Mason Mount. It was a bad movement, and he is going to recover because we need him. So not much on there. It was interesting to see Mazraoui finally starting the one of the wing back roles as well. I thought was interesting, and he looked fine there. I mean, Mazraoui just seems to play whatever position he's put in really well. So I think moving forward that's definitely something that we can look at. Now on to other news really quickly before we do delve into the derby in a little bit more detail. So there's been quite a lot happening this week, to be fair, and that is that Alejandro Garnacho has actually won the Puskas Award for Fever. That overhead kick against Everton has won the best goal of the season, of the year. So that's not a surprise. That was one of those kind of hits that you're never going to see likely replicated again. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. And Andre Onana has been named as the goalkeeper in the CAF FIFA Pro Men's Best 11 of 2024. So he was selected in the as celebrated as the best of goalkeeper in African football this year. So there you go. Well done to Andre Nana. He has been much better. I know the last couple of games he has been relatively poor, but yeah, he's been great, and he didn't make any mistakes against City. So there's not much to say there. He was back to what we have been seeing across the season to this date and in this moment of time. But look, moving forward, there is plenty to work towards. The thing that I really liked is that we didn't have the majority of the possession in this game against City, but we had a clear, identified plan about how to stop them, and we did. I mean, like City barely looked threatening. I know they're not a team that's in form at the moment, but I feel like even in an informed Man City, we had the right tactical template to match them and beat them. And now Ruben Amorim's beaten Pep Guardiola twice in the space of a couple of months with two different teams, one in the Portuguese league, one in the Premier League. I think that's really good for his own individual confidence, but also in the team's confidence and matching it against these better teams. I mean, we've obviously got quite a few tricky games coming up. We've got Tottenham in the Carabao Cup tomorrow night, which is going to be a big game. Quarterfinal away. Spurs aren't in the best form either. They've got a lot of defensive injuries, so there's every reason that we should be able to get at them from an attacking perspective. So I'm expecting us to go there and give them a game. And ideally, we want to win. I think we want to keep the winning mentality going. And Ruben Amorim has talked about the you know winning is like an oxygen balloon for United's morale, and obviously focusing on the win, but then obviously then relating this to then actually going and building upon it by going to Tottenham and then hopefully beating them as well. And then, like, obviously, it's very nice. Savor the derby victory. We barely won at the Etihad Stadium for a very long period of time. So hopefully that can continue going forward, and we'll be able to get going from there. But yeah, from there, it looks like we'll just have to sit there, go there, hopefully get a result, and then go to the Bournemouth game on Sunday and hopefully continue the league form, because obviously we're still literally a mid-table, which is definitely not ideal at this point in the season. But look, there's plenty of games over December and really good chances to get up and get on board with what's moving on. So hopefully they can do that, and we will see some continued improvement in results. But look, whenever you have a big win over one of your close rivals, it's always really good. So there was lots to build on. Ahmad looked amazing. Ruben Amorim actually brought on Anthony to replace Mazraoui in the right wing back spot. And I think that he even made mention of the fact that Anthony is adapting to a new position. And we might actually see Anthony develop there. He might not be a complete lost cause. I mean, he is 24 years old, so there's still a chance to turn his career around. And like he does have that defensive work ethic to make the position work. It's just a matter of whether he's going to be able to do that long term, whether he can do that to an acceptable level that Ruben Amorim doesn't think that we need to go into the market for someone else. So yeah, he did say on Anthony that he is adjusting, and everyone starts with a blank slate, and that's essentially what we've seen. Like he continued to make a lot of changes in this game against Manchester City, where we saw lots of different players come in, where you could almost facilitate what was going to happen based on the team that he picked in the Europa League. Obviously, Rasmus Højlund didn't start that game, and he obviously started this one against Man City. I think moving forward, Ruben Amorim looks like he's going to have a bit more of a settled side, particularly for the league games, which makes a bit of sense because that's the bread and butter. We've got to start performing in the Premier League if we're going to go any further forward. And I think that Rasmus Højlund is probably the starting number 9. I can't see Joshua Zirkzee getting in front of him. Again, he didn't really offer a hell of a lot when he came on in this particular game. And obviously, with Rashford and Garnacho on the outer, there's definitely room there for Ahmad to just come in and really cement his place in the team in that number 10 position. And then maybe they go and look to buy a wing back in January or in the summer, probably at left wing back, because obviously Luke Shaw is unlikely to stay fit, which is a bit of a sad state of affairs. But unfortunately, his body, ever since that broken leg all those years ago, has not been the same. And yeah, I think that realistically, I probably need to do some forward planning and look to buy a player there in the foreseeable future. And then we'll probably just need to upgrade that midfield as well. There's still probably a spot there that we need. And then I wouldn't be surprised if we aim for a centre back as well. But I don't think there's going to be much business in January other than potentially moving players out. And the fact that Marcus Rashford has been linked quite a lot in the media recently of being available for £40 million, I think if United could probably get 40 million for him and move his wages, of which he's on over £300,000 a week, off the books, I think that that would probably be a pretty good piece of business moving forward. And also send a message to the squad that if you're not up to scratch and you're not performing to the wages that you're getting paid, that hey, we're making cuts and making people redundant at the club. We're also going to make the players redundant and move them on if they're not performing at the standard that we expect at Man United. So look, that's what I took out of that game. I think Tottenham are there for the taking on Thursday night. It's just a matter of whether he rotates the squad a lot again. I mean, if you keep making six changes every game, eventually you're going to come unstuck with probably, you know, maybe an inferior team going out there. But Tottenham are a team that just concede goals. So provided we defend half decently, we should be able to knock a few past them and hopefully get into the semi-finals. And then we're probably going to be up against one of the other big teams. So that's always exciting. So hopefully we do. I'll join you after the Tottenham game, probably on Friday before the weekend's games of football. All right, thanks for joining. That's been Manchester United, the D, and its view.